noise canceller. That works. That's good for S unit, maybe sometimes 2S units. 6 to 9 dB. 6 to 9 dB improvement in signal to noise. So that becomes significant. And this antenna is, if it were directional, it is aimed away from the FM radio source. So I keep trying. WA3HVR, KMLM.
Yeah, WA3HVR. You know, on my Flex 5000, it's got a separate receive antenna input. And what I have, how I'm using that from the beginning was I like 6 meters. And they told me before I bought it that the 6-meter receiver in there was not as good as it could be for weak signals. So I went out and I bought a preamp, and I have that hooked up to the receive loop. So it goes to the preamp and then feeds it right back into the receiver on 6 meters only. So my experience, however, is that the receiver is quite good on 6 meters without it. So I don't know. I think I wasted my money on that, but I have it anyway. So if I wanted to someday just take that out and replace it with a separate receive antenna for, say, this band or whatever, I could do that, and then just set that up in the software as in the antenna selection as a receive antenna choice for this band. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it. But this radio that I'm on right now is simple. It's a real simple radio. There's not much to it, but it works really well. And I've been having fun with it on CW. I bought myself a Bengali paddle, and I thought, well, I'm going to really get back into CW. And I borrowed one from a friend for field day, and I used it for field day, and I liked it, so I went out and bought one. So I'm having fun with that, making a few contacts every day, at least one, sometimes more. And it's just I'm getting back into it a little bit and enjoying it. So there you have it. This antenna is not as high as I'd like it, but it's just the nature of the property. We have to keep it where it is, but it's high enough, and I've worked all over the world with it on a lot of bands, including 80 and 40. So I've been doing a lot of DX with it, so it works out very well. It's not the quietest receiving antenna, however, but it is good enough. And I use FT8 and FT4 some of the time for DXing, and it really amazed me how well it works. This vertical ground plane that I have actually picks up the 30 and 15 meter bands well, because the wire will not work on those bands. So I like to work 15 and 30 meters as well. And when 15 is good, boy, I'll tell you what, that's my favorite. I can work anywhere. And 10 will be coming back too again. It'll be coming around. I got a little Yagi up for 10, and that works pretty good too. So, but yeah, very good on your experience with the Flex 6700. And still, they're, I guess, top of the line. That's a really nice radio for sure. I like the form factor of that better than the newer ones. The form factor of the 5000 is terrible. When I bought it, I didn't bother to figure out to pay attention to the dimensions before I got it. So I unboxed it and I put it on the table here, and it wouldn't fit under the shelf, and it was just like this big box that was really unwieldy. So what I did was I put it off to the side. And all I have to do is reach over and turn the power on with it. I mean, everything else is connected in the back, and the computer controls everything. So I don't really care about the fact that it's this horribly misshapen box, and it's pretty empty inside too. There's not a whole lot in there, but it works great. K8MLM WA3HVR.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I got the 5000 when it first came out. I'm very familiar with it. And familiar with that shape. It fit well in my hand shack. Now, I've got the 6700. I like the form factor on that. I got it on my desk right in front of me, but I don't need it there. Nor do I need the amplifier there. All I need is a keyboard and monitor, and I can put this radio anywhere. I've got an extra 6400. It'll fit in the same spot that the 67 is, but oh well. I liked the 5000 form factor. I liked it. It was unique. It was different. And, it had that bright red light on it. I think I had the red one. Maybe I had the blue one. I forget. I got the 5000 right away when it first came out. I had an SDR 1000 before that. I've been a dedicated Flex radio user. Your 7300 though, nice, simple, straightforward. Man, it's amazing how many they have. ICOM has sold to those things. They're everywhere. I was at Dayton, or really at Xenia, when they opened up, and they were going to sell out all that they had. The lineup was out the door and around the block. There's people lining up to buy it. It was a success, I think. But at any rate, well, back to the antenna subject. I'll keep fooling around. This loop goes 60, 70 feet in the air. I've got one big tree in the back, so it's as high as I can get it up in a tree. The base of it is above the roof of the house. I got the height. I don't know how it's going to work on DX. We'll see. We'll see what it's like when I get it on someplace else. But well, it does turn out nicely, and I've got the tuner on it. We got a couple homebrew tuners here, and it tunes nice, and well, I'll get around to fool around with it some more and see what I can do. I put it on the antenna analyzer, and lowest SWR is a little bit lower in frequency than this. I was fooling around adjusting the length of the feed line for the 450 ohm ladder line, and I could change the SWR. Doesn't sound logical, but it was doing it. I'll fool around and try some more, but oh well. If you can't break it, why not? WA3HVR, KWLM.
Okay, very good, Bob. WA3HVR. Yeah, you were at 20 over at the end there, but it goes down about S9. But your signal's great here. SDR 1000 is what got me started too with the Flex radios. I had one, and I remember being at a friend who used to live a couple streets from me, and he had an SDR 1000. So I went over there and was looking at it and actually using it there, and I was so impressed. I came home and ordered one, and it was fun. I mean, it wasn't the greatest rig, but it had some problems on some of the other bands. It worked well on a couple bands, but anyway, long story short was I moved on from that. I sold that and got the 5000, and that's quite a different radio, as you know. And I like all the connections on the back of the 5000. There's a million connections and things I wouldn't even use. A transverter outputs and whatever, and it's got the quarter-inch plugs for direct audio in, the balance modulator. I mean, it's got really nice connections. I really like that. So, I'm keeping it. It doesn't owe me a nickel, and it works great. I've never had a day's trouble with it. Although when I first got it, the first one I got, I bought brand new from them. I actually went up in smoke after 2 weeks. It was a mass massive component failure, and they replaced it. So it was fine. They sent me a label, and back it went. And but mine has a red light on it. I think the earlier ones had a blue light. Mine was like towards the end of production. I didn't know that when I bought it. I didn't know that they were about to, discontinue these rigs. But it doesn't matter. I've had many years of enjoyment with it and I also have a Kenwood TS590, which I like, and that's my digital rig. That's for the FT8, FT4, and whatever. And so that's and that's just how it is. So I got plenty of radios to play with. And my old favorite tuner is my Tentec 229, which I've had for the original owner from, oh my goodness, 25 years ago maybe. So, that just needed some work, and a friend of mine took care of that. He restored that completely, and that's beautiful, silky smooth on the roller inductor now. So, anyway, that'll tune a bed spring. I really believe that. It's just a remarkable device. I tried an auto tuner. I was an LDG. It worked fine, but I like this. You can dial it down and see what you're doing and all that sort of thing. And now with the new amplifier is good for like 1.2 kW, but I'll probably run it at half of that. And it'll be nice to just be able to, like I am now, dial down the SWR and see everything, nice and happy at 50 ohms. All of my antennas are coax fed, so of course this one's fed through a 4-to-1 current balun at the feed point. So, and I also have an isolation balun in the shack here at the other end, at the business end of this antenna. And the reason for that was I used to set off the alarm system on 80 meters in the house. There was common mode coming back and doing that. So ever since I put that on, it's a Balun Designs balun. I put it on right at the output of the tuner, right at the antenna output of the tuner for this antenna. Took care of the problem instantly. Never had it since. So very happy about that. Well, anyway, Bob, thank you for answering my CQ, which, by the way, was recorded. That was a recorded CQ you answered, stored on the SD card. And I have that featured in the software for the Flex 5000. They've got voice memory keyers there. And, of course, this radio also has CW memory keyers, like 8 of them. 8 memories. So I was playing with that the other day. So, you know what? All this stuff is fun. And I don't know what's next with radio development, but I just have so much fun with these toys. They're an enormous amount of fun. And I have this old audio gear that I'm using now too. I've had it for years. It's still made. It's W2IHY, the 8-band equalizer, and the EQ Plus. Bought it, I don't know, 15 years or more ago, and it still works great. And what I like about it is it enables me to use one microphone for all the transceivers. And I have right now, this is a Sennheiser MD421, and it feeds each one of the rigs. So I can just have one microphone, and that's how it works. And I set up the audio and don't have to change the settings on it. I change the settings in the radios themselves so that everything is copacetic and it works well. So anyway, Bob, good to talk with you, and hope you get your antenna further developed. But in my estimation, it's working great. So that's all I'll tell you. With 100 watts, you're really pounding in here. So, about your amplifier, that's a beauty. That is something else. I read about that. That's a beautiful amplifier. But in the shack here, I don't have 220. I only have 120. I have a dedicated 120 20 amp circuit here. So and just in the shack for this room. So I can run a modest amplifier just fine. I had a AL80A here for years, ran fine, and that was putting out about 800 watts PEP. And I don't plan to even run that kind of power with the new amp. I'll probably run it at about 600, so it'll run fine with this. If I had 220, I'd use it, but on the for the house to get 220 up here now would be a massive project that it's just not warranted. So there you go. K8MLM. Wrap it up, Bob. 73 WA3 HVR.
Okay, Dave, WA3 HVR, K8MLM. Well, this house, before I moved in, I had some renovations done. I put in my own sub panel for the rig, which is in the basement, and for the kitchen. The two important things. Got to keep the beer cold in the refrigerator. Got to be able to run the microwave. But for the kitchen and the rig, so I got a dedicated 220 line that comes in here. And when I grew up to be an old fart, I duplicated the two 115 lines up in the dining room and the 220 line. So when I get to be an old fart, I can just move the radio up there and won't have to go up and down the stairs or whatever. Right now, I have no problem with the stairs. So. And I put in an expensive grounding system and a hole through the wall to bring the antennas in. And the tower for my hex beam, just a 40-foot tower, but it's right outside the entry point where the antennas come in, and it's right outside the entry point where electrical power comes into the house. So it's all up to ham radio code, grounding code. 73, Dave, enjoyed it. I'm going to keep playing with this antenna and see what kind of wonderful things I can do with it. WA3HVR, K8MLM.
Okay, Bob. Good talking with you. As I said, it's working great for you, so, I'm sure you can play with it till the cows come home, but, you get to a point where you say, oh, that's good enough, and then that's what happens. But this antenna was made up by a company that actually is in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, the next town over. And at the time, the owner of the company, he sold it, but at the time, he was in our radio club, and I knew him for many years, and he was selling these antennas at Hamfest and whatever, and I finally said, all right, let me come over and get one, and I did. Very happy with it ever since. It's made up really beautifully, and it's got 12-gauge wire, and the dowel is really beautifully done, so yeah, I'm happy with it. 73 WA3HVR.
73, Dave. Have a nice evening. Great weekend. WA3HVR, K8MLM, Claire.
Vertical in your direction, and so my signal probably dropped back off quite a bit. And I'll go. Now I'm back to the other inverted Z. I keep wanting to come up with some kind of array that, like a wire array, that was switchable in direction. Maybe set of wire log periodics that on with 5 or 6 directions to them. But the trouble is, something like a log periodic is size-wise and the way antennas work is exactly opposite of what you need. If you think of it this way, like you have a center pole and you want to go 5 or 6 different directions, if you make concentric circles around that, so to speak, as an example, the big ends farther out and the little ends farther in, so that's for log periodic, that's the opposite direction of what you want them to be. So you have to start with, say if you wanted to start out on 40, wanted to run 40 through 10,